Hello, my name is Donna Bellamy and I'm the author of Raising Happy Hearts and I'm the mother of 6. And today I just wanted to give you a tip on how you can have well-behaved children. And so the reason why I know this is because my 6 children are well-behaved, and so I am able to take them to Walmart by myself to go grocery shopping, and they are all a blessing, that they're obedient, that they're quiet, that they help me even to grocery shop. And so it is not a headache situation. It's not a bad situation. You know, it comes with such an ease and it's a joy. So I can bring my children with me wherever I need to go, and I know that they'll behave, that they'll listen to my voice, and that we'll have a good experience, all of us, even my children. And not only, grocery shopping, but I can take them to church, I can take them to restaurants. And as a matter of fact, when we don't go to restaurants often, but when we do, I can kind of get the gist that people, when they see us walk in as a family of 8, they kind of have this look like, oh, there goes our peace and, tranquility for sure. And we've had so many people come up to us when they see that our children just sit there, they eat quietly, they enjoy their food, and, we just have just a normal meal without any, screaming, no disobedience, no shenanigans. And so we've had people come up to us and said, whatever you're doing with your kids, you're doing the right thing because your kids are amazing. And the thing is, it's not even hard. It's not even hard to have your kids obey your voice. The thing is, a lot of mothers I've noticed, and I've also done this in the past, so it's not like, I knew this from the beginning. I've learnt this. So when you give your kids a command and you know that they understand, like you say, all right, don't touch that glass on the table. And then you can tell that they know what you're talking about. And then they go reach out for the glass. And you say that, I told you don't touch that glass. And so they reach out for the glass. I'm warning you, don't you touch that glass. And you repeat yourself and repeat yourself and repeat yourself. And a lot of the times you get to the point where you become, angry because they're not listening to you. And then once you're angry, that's when your children get the consequence. Or some mothers count to 3. They say, don't touch that. And then they say, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2. So you've taught your child that he or she has 3 seconds before she needs to obey. Or you've taught your child that you don't mean what you say until you're angry. And so they have until the point that you get angry to obey. And so, some people say that training your kids is a bad thing, but you're training your kids whether you know it or not. You're training them to obey you when you give them a calm command, or you're teaching them to obey you when you get angry or when you've counted to 3. And so it's up to you. Do you want your kids to obey you when you're angry, or do you want your kids to obey you when you're calm? If you want your kids to obey you when you're calm, then they need to get the consequence after the first disobedient act. So if you say, don't touch that glass, and then they reach out to touch the glass, then they get the consequence. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please read Proverbs 22:15 and Proverbs 13:24, and that will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And just to be clear, time out is not mentioned in the Bible as not a biblical thing, because the Lord knows what your children need, and so it's best to obey what He says in His Word to get the results that He says in His Word. Okay, so we as parents need to make sure that when our children, when we give our children a command, that we back up our words with action so that they know, okay, when Mum says this, she means it, so I better obey. And it's just better for everybody because, if your children are disobedient, they can get themselves into bad situations. If your children are disobedient and they won't eat the food that you prepared for them, that won't be healthy for them. I know a lot of mothers struggle at dinner time, and I tell you, I can put straight salad with dressing in front of my children at dinner time, and I won't hear one complaint. They'll eat it, and it's good for them. And, I also give them treats just because, they bring me so much joy. I just want to be able to bless them, and I do. But I know that if I need to feed them something, they'll eat it. And so we don't have any battles at dinner time. We don't have any battles at bedtime. We don't have any battles. It's just that there's peace, there's order, and it's because we're doing what God says to do in His Word. And even the baby, and some people think, but they're just a baby. is like babies learn too. And I have a 13-month-old, and he crawls around the house, and when he starts to get to a place that's dangerous, I say, no, and he stops, and he turns around, he goes somewhere else. Or when he's reaching out to touch something he's not allowed to touch, I say, no, and he pulls his hand back. And it is so simple. And he's only 13 months old, and he knows no. And it didn't even take very long to train him. It was so simple. And so I just want to encourage you that you don't need to be overwhelmed. You don't need to be stressed out. You don't need to get angry. As a matter of fact, it's so much better to not get angry. Just stay calm and just be loving towards your children, but give them a loving command. And if they don't obey, then they get a consequence. And then that'll teach them to obey the first time you say something. And then you'll have obedient children, and you'll be able to take them places, without being stressed out and without dreading it. And so I just wanted to encourage you with that. And so my book is coming out, and I have, this tip and a lot more, because there's a lot more to it, in my book, and that I want to share with you. I, poured my heart out on those pages, and so that book's coming out. So just stay tuned and share this video with any mothers that you think that it would be really helpful. And please like and share this video, and like my page if you haven't already. And I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.